Hello, Rain.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Today we are back and we're recording another podcast episode.
Great.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about Katheryne Scott Eggleston's disappearance case. You looked into this one?
Mm-hmm.
And you know some information about Katheryne's disappearance?
Yeah, this one is kind of like one of those just weird disappearance cases. Not much actually stood out for me, but at the same time, it's just weird.
It's just weird how Katheryne...
Like, there's no sign of her
It's weird how she just...
leaving.
Yeah, how she just vanished. But there are some interesting details, and I think this is one of those cases where I think some of the people listening to our podcast can actually really do a good job of chiming in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think that this is the case where you have just enough evidence and just enough details to kind of put together a theory.
Yeah, but there's nothing else. Nothing to go on for it to go on and on.
Well, let's jump into the story, and then let's kind of have a discussion.
Let's go for it.
So Katheryne Scott Eggleston disappeared under mysterious circumstances in Portland, Oregon. Portland is a pretty big city, biggest city in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Her disappearance is considered one of the most notorious cold cases in Portland's history. Katheryne had recently graduated from Oregon State University, and she had taken up a job for Allnet, which is a telecommunications company based in Lake Oswego in Oregon, a small town. She was working out of a small town. She wasn't really working in Portland.
She wasn't working within the city.
No, but she...
How far is this town from the city?
From Portland?
Yeah.
I think it's like honestly...
Just a little bit outside.
Yeah, I don't have the exact distance, but I think...
An outskirt?
The idea is... No, further away. I think the idea is that Katheryne is a salesperson for Allnet, and she would make business trips trying to sell Allnet's equipment. So she's...
she's one of those. Like,
yeah, she's a sales lady.
Offering like products and
yeah, like
promotions.
some sort of telecommunications products. So she's only been at the job for a handful of months because she had recently graduated. And I think Allnet as a company was hiring recent graduates to do this type of a job.
Smart.
So her day started off regularly on August 2nd, which was a Monday in 1993. She had a few business meetings earlier in the day in Portland in the morning, and she was scheduled to make several more sales appointments in the city in the afternoon. She was last seen at around 2:15 p.m. in the former Port of Portland building located at 700 Northeast Munhold Street. So you've seen the building is this pretty big skyrise building in Portland area.
Yeah, it's such a gray building.
It's a great building.
Kind of super bland, just gray building, just there.
It's just there.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a building from the Soviet Union. No?
Actually, no. It looks better than Soviet buildings. But it's, I would say it doesn't have any like distinguishing characteristics. It's just a
building.
Just a real building, right? So
One question.
Yeah.
Where did she live? Within the Portland area or in the outskirts?
Yes, so she lived, as I can see, in a place called Gresham, Oregon, which is, I assume, another smaller city in Oregon, and she was living with her sister. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit.
Yeah, but it seems so exhausting. She's living in one place and her job is in another little city or town, and then she had to drive back and forth all around Portland.
I mean, this is how things were back in the day.
It's crazy.
As a salesperson, you have to...
It's every day.
Pretty much.
Oh, crazy.
And apparently, I even read that after coming back to the main office, they would still make cold calls after 5 p.m. after the whole day of driving around.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Insane. So, several people witnessed her making telephone calls in that building, that same building that we were just talking about. Remember that one? So, witnesses stated that she appeared nervous while her client stated that one of the clients that she was with earlier in that building, he basically told that he had seen her exiting an elevator in a company of an unknown man. So later on, her unlocked car was discovered the following morning in an industrial parking lot 9 miles away. Her purse and most of her belongings were left in the car, though her passport was never found. So that's a very bizarre way to leave a car, because apparently all of her the car was unlocked, the windows were down, and all of her belongings were in there. Even the car's ignition key was still in the ignition. So it's almost like someone wanted the car to be stolen. So that's weird. We're gonna get into it. And lastly, the investigation by Portland law enforcement into her disappearance was significantly focused on her older sister's upcoming court sentencing regarding tax evasion. Detectives had a theory that Katheryne may have fled intentionally to avoid testifying against her sister, though her family reportedly denied any connection between the two incidents. So that's the general story here. And let's start dissecting things, because there's something to dissect here. So let's talk a little bit about the disappearance, like more things that are happening there, because we have to mention a few things. So after she finished college, Katheryne relocated to Gresham, Oregon, a suburb of Portland, where she resided with her older sister Janet, who was 37 at that point. She took a job working for Allnet Communication Services, a company based in Lake Oswego, working as a salesperson. On the morning of August 2nd, she departed the company's office to attend a business meeting in Portland before shopping at several businesses on Northeast Whitaker Way in Portland. It was her first day making sales visits alone. She stopped at a bank and a gasoline station before having lunch at Burger King restaurant near the Lloyd Center in the Lloyd district. Now, shortly after she arrived at the building where she was last seen, approximately 2 blocks from the Lloyd Center for a business appointment, she was seen making phone calls in the building lobby, and 5 individual witnesses who saw her there stated she appeared preoccupied and worried as she was making the phone calls.
Yeah, but this could be regular business phone calls, cold calls. Maybe she's making some calls to some potential clients and she just looked preoccupied and worried.
She was also new at the job. So
maybe she's kind of stumbling around a bit.
Yeah, so far
nothing out of like the ordinary, nothing weird so far.
Yeah, I agree. So far, nothing. At approximately... sorry, Lucas. That was a wrong place where I was reading. I wanted to say another thing.
For our audience, Sarukas is like the Lithuanian cutesy way of saying sorry.
Yeah. At approximately 2:15 p.m., the man who she had an appointment with in that building saw her exiting an elevator in the lobby with a man wearing a blue blazer. The client described the unknown man as having dark hair and dark complexion. This was the last time she was seen. So who was this man?
Could be one of the clients.
But she was only with one client.
Oh, so there were no other clients?
I don't know.
Could be a potential client. Could be someone who seemed interested in buying some Allnet stuff.
Allnet stuff, yeah. Right?
It could be anyone because it's like a business center.
Yeah, and apparently that was the last time anyone saw her.
Ooh.
That was the last confirmed sighting. So
did this dude in a blue blazer ever stepped in and explained his side?
No. He was never identified. On top of that, we honestly don't even know if she left the building.
Ooh.
Because her car was in the parking lot for the next 3 hours at the very least. So even if she left the building, she didn't go to her car.
I wonder what's happening by then.
Yeah, I wonder what's happening. So she may have left the building with that dark complexioned man with a blue blazer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But she didn't go to her car.
I don't know, it doesn't really strike me as odd because it could literally be a potential client or someone just interested. Or maybe a business person who thought she was attractive, just striked up a conversation or something.
Yeah, but you know...
It's just weird that this guy didn't step up.
The client.
The blue blazer man.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
I mean, apparently this case was very well known in Portland.
Yeah, right?
It was a big case in Portland, so... I mean, how would that man not know that? Katheryne?
And it's not as if he's gonna get in trouble.
If he didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I was with her during these hours, but we separated ways and I didn't know where she went. Like, how hard could that be?
Good point.
So do you think this blue blazer dude is already suspicious?
Suspicious, for sure. Like, he is super suspicious, in my opinion.
Mm.
So, her absence was first noted when she failed to return to the office, where she was supposed to meet her advisor at 5 p.m. At around 5 p.m., at the same time... Okay, so she was supposed to go back to the office at around 5 p.m. and talk to her supervisor. But at 5 p.m. also, at that same time, a witness named John Davis cited her gray Volkswagen Golf still in the Port of Portland building parking lot. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, is that something must have happened pretty bad. Something bad happened right after that sighting with the man in the elevator, because she was supposed to be back in the office by 5. But her car was still in the parking lot by 5. So it's not like she was just, okay, I'm gonna take the second part of the day off, you know what I mean? No, you have to go back to the office at 5. You have to be back in the office.
Yeah, because you have another meeting.
Yeah, or make some cold calls, you know what I mean? So you still have to do stuff, but she's not doing that. Something must have happened. As I've said, we don't even know if she ever left the building. So when she failed to return home that day, her sister notified the father, who traveled to the Portland area from Redmond the following day on August 3rd. In the early morning hours on Tuesday, August 3rd, a security guard at an international complex located at Northeast 122 Avenue and Airport Way discovered her Volkswagen Golf parked in the parking lot, approximately 9 miles from the Port of Portland building where it was last seen, near the Portland International Airport.
Okay, then what is this about? She didn't go back to her office, the HQ, by 5.
Someone got into her car and drove it 9 miles away and dumped it close to an airport.
And took her passport.
So this is the information that we have. The doors were unlocked. All of the windows were rolled down, with the keys still in the ignition. Her purse and its contents were in the car, including a checkbook, credit cards, and a small amount of cash. Her passport was missing. And her parents noted that she had retrieved that passport from their residence while visiting 10 days prior, which is something a lot of people also find quite peculiar, that she, for some unknown reason, took her passport from her parents' home 10 days prior. But actually, when you think about it, how strange is that? I mean, if I'm living away from my parents, I'm probably gonna go back there and get my passport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my identification. You never know when you have to fly out somewhere. Especially at 22, you don't know what's gonna happen. You might need to get on a flight, make some business sales, whatever. So I wouldn't say that's that suspicious. But some people think that maybe the retrieval of the passport actually means something here, and it plays a significant role in Katheryne's disappearance.
I always thought that she needed that passport or identification for her job.
Well, it doesn't seem like it, because she was just making local sales visits in Oregon.
True.
Doesn't seem like she was gonna fly anytime soon because she was recently on that job. But what I'm saying is that I think just to have your passport on you, like
Yeah,
for
it's
me,
not suspicious
like
at
not
all.
suspicious because I mean I have my passport on me. I don't leave it at my parents' place, so that's natural for me.
No, but it's not usually with you in your bag and all.
Oh no, I don't
You
carry
leave it at home.
Yeah, there's no. If I'm not flying anywhere, then why would I carry it?
Yeah, and maybe that's what some other people find suspicious. Why is it with her on the day she disappeared?
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even consider that. Mm-hmm. So her passport has never been recovered?
Unless she keeps it in her car.
But then it's the only thing missing from the car.
Yeah, and if somebody actually drove that car to the parking of the airport, why would they leave it in that state? It's super suspicious. Just take the passport and everyone will think she disappeared.
So some people suspect that maybe the manner in which the car was left was maybe so that someone would steal the car and would make it even harder to get some evidence or some DNA later on, you know? Because think about it, roll down windows with a car still in the ignition with personal belongings, purse, and some money on top of that. It's like almost the ideal circumstance for a wannabe burglar to kind of just ransack the car, get in it, contaminate it, add some more
Yeah,
DNA.
basically, the only thing missing is a sign saying, "Steal me."
On top of that, think about it, it was left in the close proximity to an airport. And you know, people flying out, they leave their cars in the airport parking lots all the time. And no one finds it suspicious when it's there for like a long time.
Yeah, oh.
You know, so the location of the car and the fact that the windows were rolled down. I've seen some people talk about this case, and they believe that this may have been done intentionally to potentially hide tracks of the victim.
That's
Of
a very
the
good
culprit.
point. That's a very good point, but unluckily for the culprit, the car stayed there.
The car stayed there, but apparently they couldn't still find anything off of it, as far as we can tell. So 4 days after her disappearance, on August 6th, fields located nearby were searched by volunteer searches, as well as other underbrush, gravel roads, and farmlands. Eggleston's employer, Allnet Communications, paid for additional air searches, which were followed with ground searches using bloodhounds. On August 6th, Portland police spokesperson Derek Foxworth told reporters that it certainly looks like we might have a homicide.
I'm just wondering if she actually ever left that building.
But then who took her car? And where did she go?
Blue blazer guy?
And but where would she go though? How do you disappear from within the building?
Maybe she was murdered there.
Yeah, but then how did things progressed after that?
No idea.
So there are some theories here. So the family initially suspected that her then boyfriend, a Redmond resident, may have been responsible for her disappearance, but he was later cleared by law enforcement, who confirmed that he had been in Central Oregon at the time that she had disappeared. Though initially suspected as a homicide, the Portland Police Bureau subsequently theorized that she had gone missing intentionally, possibly to avoid the testifying in a potential court case against her sister that she was living with at that time, Janet, who was on trial for tax evasion. Janet and her former husband were accused of failing to report around $190,000 in business income between the years of 86 and 87. This revelation, and detectives focusing on it as a potential motive for Katheryne to flee, led to strife between the family and the investigators. Specifically, lead detective, a woman named Terry Wagner. So her father, Paul Eggleston, said that this woman, Terry Wagner, made it crystal clear that she was not going to talk with us. that she still believes Katie probably disappeared on her own will. So Katie's family subsequently hired a retired Oregon State Police detective to further investigate the disappearance case. And several leads were produced. One of the leads regarded a security guard who possessed keys to the Port of Portland building's parking garage. So we have no more information about this security guard, but the private detective working for the family apparently uncovered something suspicious about a security guard who was working at the office building where she was last seen. And the security guard had access to the garage and potentially had moved the car from the parking lot, I believe. That's what they're entailing.
Yeah, actually, like thinking about it right now, I kinda am sensing that something must have happened in that building. Just a complete opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, we like your complete opinions.
No, I don't know what exactly happened, but it seems like from the looks of it, something happened in there and somebody drove her car miles away in hopes of not ever, in hopes of erasing the traces.
I have a different suspicion. In my opinion, what is probably more likely that she did leave the building, but she didn't go to the car. She went with someone somewhere else.
But why? It's her working hours.
Maybe it was a person who told her, "Oh, can we go grab some lunch?" Or like, I work in an office building, and we need the telecommunication equipment. Could you check out the building?
Yeah.
But he didn't drive to no building. And then that person later comes. The weird thing is, why would you come back to the car? Why would you come back to the car if you're a culprit and you, let's say, had something to do with Katheryne's disappearance? Why would you then go back to the building to take the car?
And how would you know it's her car in the first place?
And on top of that, this is so risky because you'll be seen driving the car, and then you'll be leaving your DNA. So do we think that Katheryne left the building in the car
and drove it 9 miles away?
Yeah, left it somewhere. Did Katheryne stage the car? Did she want it to get stolen?
Why though? What's the reason? The tax evasion of her sister?
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's put it this way. For example, your brother did not pay his taxes correctly, and he's in debt or he's in trouble for like 190,000 euros, just for an example. And the only way to have it resolved or for him not to be indebted is for you to disappear all your life?
No, then I guess the logic is that I wouldn't go to court to testify.
You'd be too afraid to testify?
Yeah, I guess you don't want to snitch on your sibling.
But they pleaded guilty, right?
Yeah, they pleaded guilty later on, so apparently she wouldn't even have to testify. So it's a really weak argument for her disappearance. What do you think? It's pretty
definitely,
weak, right?
Because they pleaded guilty.
Okay, so we have some more information. To further the search efforts, the employer, Allnet, funded a tip hotline. Okay,
this Allnet company...
They're doing a lot.
They're a good company.
They're a good company, yeah. So they funded a tip hotline dedicated to tips in her disappearance. So flyers were also promising a $5,000 reward, and they were distributed along Interstate 5 between Eugene and Everett, Washington, in mid-August. One anonymous call placed to this tip hotline was made by a man who claimed to have abducted Katheryne and murdered her 2 weeks after her disappearance. The anonymous caller, who allegedly spoke with a southern dialect, stated that she would never be found because I killed her. and we do not know who this caller is, but from my research, I was able to find somewhere that the call was made from a gas station in Portland, close or somewhat close to the place where her car was found.
Oh, that's weird.
So by October of that same year, so a couple of months after, police had received hundreds of tips in the case, but none proven fruitful. On October 12th, law enforcement told the media that they maintained their stance that she had disappeared willingly, citing the lack of physical evidence as well as her missing passport, again suggesting that she had fled to avoid testifying against her sister Janet. However, Janet and her ex-husband Jeffrey Taylor had both pleaded guilty to their charges on July 9th, foregoing a trial, meaning Eggleston would not have had to testify in the first place. After her October 12 sentencing over the tax evasion charges, Janet told the media that her case was completely unrelated to her sister's disappearance. She told the media that to imply any connection tarnishes her in a way that it's unbelievably painful to me. Her father, Paul, commented in letter correspondences to investigators that Katie may be a government witness, but her contribution to the case has to be minimal. She doesn't know any more than Sarah, which was her younger sister, and also another potential witness in the older sister's tax evasion case, about Jeff's finances. So about Jeffrey Taylor's finances, because I believe Jeffrey Taylor may have been the guy behind the big tax evasion thing. And then we have some subsequent developments that we could also address. So on May 4th in 2001, on her 30th birthday anniversary, her family set up a hotline seeking additional tips in her disappearance. One man who called was a former attendant at a gasoline station located northeast 122 2nd Avenue and Stark Street in Portland, who claimed to have seen Katheryne around the same time when she disappeared. The gas station was located approximately 4 miles south of where the vehicle was discovered, so pretty close. The gas station...
Is this the same gas station as...
No, I don't think so. Could be, but I think this is a completely different tip. So, I don't think so. The attendant claimed to have given a woman he believed to be Katheryne Eggleston directions to the airport. According to this attendant, Katheryne, he believes he saw Katheryne, he doesn't know exactly, but he believes that she departed the gas station in a vehicle whose make and model he could not recall. A short time later, that same day, the woman returned to the gas station, this time in a different vehicle, a blue-green Honda hatchback, and she was accompanied by 2 black men. According to this attendant, the woman appeared disheveled, partially undressed and crying, and seemed to be doing things to attract attention, such as driving erratically. The attendant also noted that when the woman had first arrived alone, he had noticed a thick black book on the passenger seat of her car, resembling the sales binders used by Allnet. And let's remember that that sales binder was also missing from her car. So there were 2 things that were missing from her car: her passport and the sales binder. So maybe she took the sales binder and now she was driving around with 2 black guys in a Honda hatchback.
I find this tip really suspicious. Because why wait?
Why wait, I believe, 8 years.
Yeah, why wait 8 years? And this is super detailed. Like it just happened yesterday.
Yeah, very detailed. Like he even remembers the black, binder.
Yeah.
From 8 years ago. Could you imagine you were at the gas station and you saw the car that you've seen and it had the black binder?
Yeah. I saw a woman disheveled with two black dudes, black binder, and I don't know, her passport.
I have to keep a journal to remember what I did yesterday, because otherwise I have no recollection of what I did yesterday.
Yeah, because the memory fades
Yeah,
away.
fades
but
away.
Why is it so? That tip was so detailed.
Exactly.
Why wait?
I mean,
8
you
years?
tell me.
And it's a highly popular case in Portland, Oregon. So most likely, information has been spread out, and maybe this guy already knows. Oh, she had a black binder.
It could be a thing where this guy was working at the gas station and he heard about the case back in the day, and he had the hunch that he had seen her.
Yeah, but why wait 8 years? And if apparently this woman, as he said so, was trying her hardest to gather attention.
Maybe he didn't keep up with the case. Maybe he was under the assumption that she was found.
But why didn't he report it on the same day he saw her? If she looked that suspicious, if it looked like she was in distress, why not? I mean, that anonymous caller already said that she looked like she's trying to gather as much attention.
I will say that, yeah, it's bad not to report it, but at the same time, I'm under the assumption that these gas station clerks, they probably see so much weird things on the job that it's maybe
just like a random day,
just a regular day. I feel like just a regular day in the office, because you work at the gas stations. I believe you will see some weird things happening.
Pretty sure, yeah.
You know, so I think that might not be even the weirdest thing he had seen on the job.
It's just odd that, I don't know, you see a woman in distress within a company of two men. You notice everything down to the detail.
Okay, that's a good argument. I actually didn't consider this one.
And only give out an anonymous tip 8 years after. What?
Anonymous?
Is it anonymous?
Yeah. No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not, sorry. I thought you said anonymous. So I was like, what are you talking
My
about?
nose is a little clogged, okay?
Anyways, so this is what I'm thinking right now. So we have Katheryne Eggleston, 22, recent graduate, had been on the job for a few months. This is how her story kind of goes, right? So she grabs a passport from her parents' place soon before she goes missing, right?
I don't think that's suspicious, though.
You don't think that's suspicious? Okay. Now there's some more information that we have not talked about. Let me just open my other notes here. So another thing I would like to mention is that shortly before she had disappeared, I found this information online that she had spent, actually the weekend prior. This is maybe significant. The weekend prior to her disappearance, because she disappeared on Monday. So on the weekend, she spent the weekend in Medford, 300 miles away from Portland, in South Oregon, with her boyfriend Mike. They spent the weekend water skiing in Coos Bay and visiting Mike's aunt. Katie returned home to her sister's apartment in the suburb of Portland sometime around midnight, maybe Sunday, I believe. And Paul, her father, notes that Katie broke up with Mike over the weekend and that he had just wigged out. It is unclear whether they broke up on Sunday. So we don't know when they broke up, but over the weekend, there was a breakup. So there is something quite traumatic and weird that happened in Katheryne's life literally a day ago. Like, you don't break up with your boyfriend every day. That's something significant that we have to consider.
Do you think that urged her to just disappear and start a new life somewhere else?
I mean, it definitely builds towards that a little bit more now that we know this information. What do you think?
and leave everything behind. Literally her
Or
purse.
maybe do something spontaneous or crazy that would lead towards that.
What do you mean? Like what?
Expromptu flight somewhere.
But there were
To
no
the Caribbean.
luggages. Yeah.
That's why it's expromptu.
Oh. No, she didn't have her wallet with her. At least.
No, it's too crazy. Yeah, you leave all your personal belongings.
Just your passport?
You leave the car like that. It doesn't make sense. It has to be something way crazier. So yeah, I agree. I don't believe that one actually.
Because if she took her wallet with her, her purse, and she left her car, I don't know, like a regular person would, it's understandable.
Yeah. So okay, I'm going back to my a little bit back to my notes here, and I want to ask you some more questions if that's okay.
Sure.
So what else I was thinking is okay. So the her older sister and her husband are, you know, on charge with tax evasion from I believe 86 and 87. She went missing on 93. So the tax evasion claims were from 6 years ago. So how would a 22-year-old Katheryne, who recently graduated, how would she be in any way involved in tax evasion claims? In tax evasion schemes when she was still in high school?
Yeah,
because it
I don't
happened
think
from
so.
6 years ago. So she was 16 when the tax evasion happened. She was 16. So why would law enforcement even consider her as a witness when she was 16 when the tax evasion happened?
I have no idea.
And
This
why would
is
they
such a
think?
good question.
Yeah, and why would they think that she would disappear willingly after, you know, because of tax evasion claims, just when she had broken up with a boyfriend just a day ago?
I think they're
There
just
was
trying
more
to make
things-
a connection to everything.
Yeah. What do you think about the lobby sighting though? The man in the do you have any like hunches?
I find him suspicious
Yeah, me too.
because if it was a casual meetup, or let's say he's just a random stranger who talked to her, her pictures were pasted everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's all over the news, it's all over everything basically. Why didn't this person step up and say like, yeah, I'm the last person maybe who talked to her, we parted ways, I left the building, I did this, I did that? Nothing, absolute nothing. Radio silence.
Yeah.
Like, what was that about? If you're not guilty of anything, why not help?
Do you think that she left the building?
That's a very good question, actually. I'm kind of convinced right now that she might have not left the building. Something probably would have happened, or probably happened in that building. I don't know if it's the blue blazer guy, the security guard.
Or the security guard, right?
Yeah, I find them both suspicious.
Okay, let's just entertain the idea that the guy in the gas station did see Katheryne with two black guys. She was disheveled, slightly undressed.
Yeah, that one I really find it weird. Like, why not raise awareness?
Okay, but no, my question is, what's happening in that scenario?
I have no idea. This is such a random sighting, random tip.
She first comes in with some car and she asks for directions to the airport.
And it was
And she
not her
leaves.
car, right?
I don't know whose car it was, but then she leaves. Sometime later, she comes back in a different car with two black men, and it's already weird. So that would mean that after the first time, she did go to the airport, but they caught up with her. The two black guys or whatever caught up with her, and now they were all back in that same gas station. What a coincidence, right? That's kind of crazy. And that would mean that she tried to escape Portland because that first blue blazer guy was already intimidating her, so she was trying to leave as quickly as possible, but then something goes wrong at the airport. They catch up with her, they bring her back to the same gas station for some reason in a Honda hatchback, And this is a weird
What
scenario.
about the first anonymous tip? That one with the southern accent?
Yeah, the one that claims to have killed Katheryne.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think it's real or a prank or just a random person?
I think it's interesting because it was made from a gas station, I think.
That's
payphone.
weird, right?
Yeah, close to the... That's interesting. I would say that is an interesting tip. But other than that, we really have nothing to kind of go off on.
Now I just kind of made a connection. What if those black dudes that were sighted, that were seen with her by a random store clerk, could one of them potentially made that call?
One of those black guys
Mm-hmm.
made a phone call?
Made that first phone call. The one with the southern
Yeah.
accent.
I mean, I can't think of a reason why they would or they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Of course they
Yeah.
could have. But at this point, I don't know, like anyone could have made that phone call.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Anyone with the southern accent. So it could have been anyone in the world who had made that phone call. All right, so what do you think? Do you think that foul play happened or think she left on her own accord? I do think that this is, to me, from the information that I have read into this, definitely, I think this is foul play.
Yeah, same here.
I just have no idea what happened after that last sighting. I don't know if she left the building. She clearly didn't go to her car. She went somewhere else. And where did she go? I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. This whole case doesn't make any sense to me right now.
Yeah, and there's no way she got up and left only with her passport to escape testifying for her sister.
The fact that her passport is missing is so weird.
Also, the black book was missing, right?
Yeah, the binder.
The binder was missing.
Yeah.
So maybe the passport was in that binder. Maybe someone just took the binder. For what though?
Yeah, for what though? I have no idea. This is so strange.
And yeah, actually, thinking about it, why did the black binder disappear? Like, what's in there?
No, I think I have an explanation for the black binder being missing. So she carried it with her on business meetings. So she must have had it in the building. So she just never went to the car.
Oh.
And maybe she already even had the passport on her. So
in
she
that
never,
binder?
yeah, or on her, just in general, in her
Yeah,
pocket.
but her purse wasn't with her.
Yeah, but maybe just the passport. I don't know. Maybe,
I was under the assumption that the passport was probably like inserted in that binder.
Yeah, it could be potentially, right? So she has her, maybe she's using it as identification to get inside of buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Show me some ID. Here's my passport. Oh, hello, I have a meeting at the 5th floor, blah, blah, blah. The security guard, okay, we have, what's her name, Katheryne? Okay, show me some ID. She pulls out the passport. So she leaves her purse in the car because she doesn't want to bring her whole stuff to the business meeting. She only takes the binder and ID to get into the building.
That's a very good assumption.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why these two things are missing. She never made it back to the car. Katheryne never came back to the car.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
She never came back to the car. She carried the binder and the passport because she needs the passport to identify herself at the entrance.
Okay, so now the question reverts back to you. Do you think the security guard and or the blue blazer guy is suspicious?
I think it's really unlikely that something happened to her within the building and it was just kind of hush-hush. So I would say that she probably left the building.
Just never made it back to the
Just
car.
never made it back. Something happened. Something happened really soon after she left the building.
But why was her car by the airport?
That's another bizarre thing. I don't know. Someone just came in, took the car, and tried to... maybe, yeah, now you kind of start thinking about that security guard, because why would that security guard would have intentions to kind of dumping the car further away from the office building to kind of get more of the suspicion off of him if he was involved.
And he knew.
Because he wanted the car to get stolen. He left the windows, everything open. He left it somewhere where it would get stolen. It just never got stolen.
And he knew the time. The car was still here.
Yeah,
but
and he's
this
probably
time, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, and he's probably the guy who's locking up the building. So he just took the car and drove out like it was nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do. This is another like theory we have here. So at this point, I would say I would like to ask our audience members to like chime in and
yeah, let us know what you think.
yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Thank you for listening.
See you very soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.